Joel and Josiah's stance under a hoist.
Yeah, that's me too. My thinking stance is this. Like,
no, it's like I can't. My head.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
will hit the car.
I'm a 6-footer, so I gotta be wary of these.
It's a good height.
Yeah.
So the titanium exhaust is pretty much complete. We have a couple spring clamps to finish up.
4.
Custom made by yours truly. Made out of a piece of flattened titanium tube.
Got my blacksmithing on.
And it looks like you bought them online. So the exhaust is just about done. I'll let Mike go over the details. The car is actually going to paint tonight, this evening. Our buddy Mason and Clay, they're going to be painting the chassis. Chassis is going to be black and the roll cage is going to be silver with a green flake. I wanted to make them separate so that it does stand out, it does pop, but I didn't want the whole car to be the same color. That's just personal preference. That's how my first car was way back when I had time, and then I did this business thing, and then I ran out of time, and now I'm starting to have a little more time for stuff like this. So Mike, tell us about why you did the exhaust this way, the mounts, the bends, the shape, the teardrop, all that cool stuff.
Yeah, we're all wrapped up now. Start from the snake one. I think that's where we ended off, was up over the subframe. This is all fitting awesome. We got our spring clamps that we had from Vibrant. We didn't have any more in stock, so that's why I had to get a little custom on those ones, but it happens. So this is a spring connection, and then we're also gonna run like a bang clamp on it. It's super solid. Like, this stuff is not going anywhere because of the nature of what the car is going to be doing, jumping banks and running insane horsepower. We wanted to make sure that, like, even if this gets flattened and smashed running up a bank, we don't want to be running it over. So we have some over-engineered brackets using some old FDF parts that he had laying around that I kind of cleaned up dilly bar style and tried to make them match the rest of the car. So put some speed holes in it, just chamfered them, cleaned them up. This is just a 4-inch piece of piping that I cut in half, and that's gonna be clamped to it. There's enough room to fit 2 clamps per section, along with the spring bolts. And then there's another one back up here off one of the old chassis mounts. Per FD spec, it needs to go to the rear axle, and traditionally there's like a turn down. How a Corvette is, this subframe, the exhaust is never made to go under a subframe. A factory Corvette exhaust runs true duals, and they come up over the torque tube differential. So the factory Corvette exhaust is super tight, and the mufflers are mounted at the very back of the car. We got way cooler stuff at the back of the car now. So this is just gonna tuck down. If it were to go under the subframe, he would 100% just destroy it everywhere. I think this is a good in-between. I think it'll definitely get hit still, just because some of the tracks are really aggressive when you run the off-camber up onto the wall. It's just always gonna beat some stuff up. But we got it solid. It's not gonna go anywhere. And even if it does break, this section is just a straight section of tube. So him and the boys can easily just get a section of tube. Cam and the guys can just make another downturn, weld it on, good to go. Just wanted to flare it up a little bit, make it look a little cooler. So just did some cutting in it. I know this thing's just gonna shoot insane flames, and it's just gonna sound, I just wanna see this thing like shaking with a big cam. It's gonna make some insane sounds.
The dyno is going to be, again, the highlight. Loading up a car to its maximum, and you just hear the pressure of the engine trying to spin this roller.
I'm a big dyno pull guy.
Huge dyno pull guy. And yes, this thing is gonna be loading up the cylinders. You're gonna start hearing it in your chest.
Yeah, at idle, this thing is just gonna be, especially with the spec of the motor. Like, your other motor is very well spec'd. It's not just like a LQ9 out of my Sierra. Like, it's a well-spec'd motor.
Yeah.
With the setup you run on it is why it sounds so good. So imagine that on steroids, because that's literally what you are putting in this.
This is not gonna hit the ground as bad as my S14 does. When you look at like the level of the subframe,
it's like flush with the subframe.
It's you know what? It may actually not ever hit. Which, if it doesn't, what we're gonna do is put a titanium drag tip on the subframe so that does hit.
We got some offcuts.
Because we want the sparks.
Yeah, you need titanium sparks.
And if this doesn't hit, I'll actually be kind of happy, because I don't really want to wreck it. Otherwise, it's complex up front, simple in the back, but we'll see how this all performs for an entire season this year. The goal is to have the car running and driving by, I wanted it by the end of March, but let's be realistic, it's gonna be the end of April, pending the engine. But we're making great time. The cool thing is, once you paint the chassis, then when you bolt parts on, you actually bolt them on with intention. You bolt it tight. We're gonna get the rest of the suspension welded and powder coated, and the car is going to be like a roller for the first time. The air jacks can go in permanently, which everything's been, you know, kind of dancing around. So we're gonna be able to put all 4 in permanently, and this is where the content and the car and all the hard work's really gonna start to show its beautiful face. Thanks, dude, for all your help, all your work. Today we're not completely finished, so Mike's gonna help. We're gonna mount some dry sump stuff. We're gonna do some things like that.
Race car.
Yeah.
Sorry, I swore. But it's race car. And
I couldn't have asked a better guy. It was great to collab with Mike and everyone else. Like Cam's got his hand in it, Dylan's got his hand in it. Yeah, we've got a lot of skilled guys.
We got Jack work. Jack was laying tubes in it, man. Jack doesn't even like grinders, but he was in there getting his hands dirty. That's the biggest thing I've worked by myself in my shop. I got my one awesome dude, Trevor, and it's just me and him. Just like a relationship here that you have with your individual guys. It's just talking smack all day and having a good time, but it's really good to go to an environment like this and honestly see, like I said it yesterday, teamwork makes the dream work. Like none of this, he wouldn't be able to be doing this if he didn't have everyone here doing what they're doing awesome in the area, or else you'd be maintaining, you'd be making sure that there's Heim joints on the show. Like you'd be doing so much. It's crazy to see what you have made over the years to what it is now and see it all working here on a daily basis, seeing parts being made, shipped out the door every day. It's super cool.
All right.
This is podcast stuff. We should be saving this, man.
Mike's gonna be one of the first guests that I have on my podcast. When we get 3 to 4 guests recorded and done, we're actually gonna post, we're gonna create a YouTube channel that we've already made. We just haven't loaded anything. And we're gonna start pushing that as just another avenue of getting to know like-minded people, having conversations that aren't just about drifting. It's about life in general and everything else, and challenges and everything that we've had to overcome. Make sure you guys watch that. We're gonna plug that on the different channels and stuff.
Cool.
Stay tuned and wait for that to come out and watch it. We're gonna keep modding this car.
Okay guys, on this episode of Butchered Cars, we're gonna install this. Okay, so we're putting this transmission tunnel on. So you can see here with the G-force, we got a ton of holes everywhere that we got to cover up. So Josiah designed this plate, and we're gonna tack it in place right there. Make sure that these are centered in the hole. I'm just gonna old-fashioned sheet metal the rest of the holes in the tunnel. But Josiah mounted his handbrake base, I guess you could call it, where the lever mounts up here and the master cylinder mounts here. So it's just going to be welded straight to the transmission tunnel. Ain't nothing to it but to do it.
What do you think, Jack?
I don't know. It's cool.
It's in right here and right here. Factory location. But I had to drop it down so that I could have clearance for all my wondrous lines and exhaust and things in general. This is the height that I wanted it at. So this is like a big drop bracket. The factory sway bar actually sits right here. Gives me all the room in the world. Big blade connects to the arm there. We're laughing. Looks great. Making good progress. Strip down. We just have the front to take off, random things like these studs, but we're very close. Rear subframe's got to come out. We'll lift it up, take a look underneath, drop it down, take a look. We got to take the gas tank out, and that's pretty much it. Ready for our boy Mason and Clay. Keep coming, keep coming, keep coming.
569.
Cam, how much does it weigh, man? Did it daily go up? Slow?
594.
575.
What was my guess?
569.
Yeah.
580. You get that, Jack? 580. What's up, guys? I'm gonna go over what I feel is going to be the sway bar solution for the drifting community and even the racing community. What I have in front of me is a chromoly bar with our machine spline ends and weld-on male and female pieces. These adapters allow you to run a 4130 chromoly bar. You can source this off of McMaster-Carr or your local metal distributor. These pieces are what you're going to be buying from us at FDF. These are oil-embedded bushings, and then on our website we're going to have 6, 8, and 10-inch long blades that you're going to be welding on to the chromoly female piece. You can weld them on at an angle, straight on. You can add a bend through the middle. But these are going to be what you're going to be able to set up on your car to clear a bunch of angle or to just run a blade style sway bar that is fully adjustable. We also have sway bar links that you can use that are universal, and they can connect to the blade and then attach to your suspension wherever you see fit to connect them. Everything is easily weldable. This is what's going to be going on my Corvette. The way that I designed the one for my Corvette is putting a bushing in either end. The bar slides through the middle. This acts as a strut bar for this car because it's going to brace the entire chassis through the tube. The tube is 1 3/4 inch, 120 wall tubing. The chromoly bar, which is our sway bar, is 1 1/4 inch, 120 wall tubing. This is 4130 chromoly. This is DOM, and that's it. We just picked up the Corvette from Mason and Clay. They did a one-day turnaround. I dropped it off Saturday morning and we just picked it up Sunday afternoon. We really needed this done fast so that we can get on with reassembly, wiring, and finish the chassis with enough time to actually race the car this year. So the cage we did in a silver gray, and then the chassis we did all black. I wanted them to be contrast to each other so that you can see the cage work, you can see how tight it fits, how nice the welds are, and then the rest of the chassis is black. I've had lighter color cars like white and gray, and I find that if you have heat or exhaust or dirt on that stuff, it's really hard to keep clean. But then black, if it gets dusty, it looks dirtier than white or gray does. So there's really no winning. But I haven't really done black yet for a chassis. So we also got our Kansai delivery of all of our Kansai wheels. So that was really exciting. These wheels have been my favorite wheels for a long time. The offset, the size, and everything's perfect. We're gonna be stretching a nice big fat tire on the back, so it's gonna look really good on this chassis. That's it. Thank you guys for watching this episode. That was the end of the exhaust manifold build as well, so Mike is going home. Maybe we'll see him more often. I know he had a blast doing this with us, so he wants to continue to play a role in whatever he can. He lives about an hour away though, so it's a bit of a drive. But thank you again, Mike, for everything that you did. And that's the end of this video. We'll see you guys in the next one.